The Dow is up some 355 points today. Tesla, not in the Dow, but Tesla, wow, what a moonshot there. And we've got some sports covering as well with Justin and Jon on today's Rebels Edge. Bang! Welcome back, everybody. I'm Jon Najarian. That guy over there is not Pete Najarian. And it's also not Marc Lepresti. That's Justin Nugent. And Justin, of course, handled the duties by himself last week for the Rebels Edge. And Justin, great job. Wonderful to have you with us on the show today. And I know that one of the things we're not going to get to cover much today, folks, because it happened just before we came on air, is a 200% pop in one of the stocks that Justin and the team identified in Joby. So I'll get to cover that on 3 at 3, I guess, Justin. But wow, there's a lot of stocks moving around a lot right now. Many of them what they would call Trump stocks. So welcome from Hawaii, Justin Nugent.
Yeah, Jon, what an incredible time to be an options trader. What an incredible time to be a UOA follower. It is just money trees are printing everywhere. It's incredible.
Yeah.
Nothing more to say about it.
Well, I like that we're fertilizing that money tree and we want to keep it growing.
Yes.
So, yeah, that Joby trade, folks, that's an option that went up by 200% after the team identified it. And that's just today. But we've got more, as they would say on the Ron Popeil commercials, on some of those infomercials. But there's more. And indeed there is, folks. But before we get into that, we're going to start with the macro minute, because we don't spend much more than a minute on macro, folks. And today we're going to say, wow, deflationary pressures in China. China is still struggling, and you can bet that Xi Jinping is going to be very willing to negotiate with President Trump rather than having these tariffs slapped on everything that China's trying to send to us, because it's not a two-way street, folks. Right now, it's a one-way street. That's about to change, and President Trump, of course, will use the power of the threat of those tariffs. But right now, China really doesn't have a lot of choices. Ongoing deflationary pressures, Justin, that's not what Xi Jinping and China needs right now.
No, absolutely not. And, you know, that's going to be in focus because we have a ton of China earnings this week. We have TME, we have Tencent, we have JD, we have Baba. I'm wondering how much weight those earnings will put on both the threat of tariffs and that China deflation. Real quick, my macro minute, super simple. I need everyone to remember it. It's going to be hard to hear. Bears were wrong all year long. So when they tell you that the market's topping out here and that we aren't going to rally in December, just keep that in mind. December has an 83% win rate post-election. I can't tell you what to do, but I would be looking for dips here to buy this week and using December 20th expirations to do it.
Great. I'll call it advice, but it's the advice to me. It's not the advice to you, folks. We are always telling you what we're doing, and then you guys have to judge if some of the trades that Justin, Jon, Pete, Marc are doing are appropriate for you, because we don't know what your risk tolerance is. We don't know how much money you have in your account and all that. It's not really our business, but we can certainly point you in directions, and then you have to decide what's appropriate for you. All right, I'm going to say fantastic futures, and I'm going to lead in by saying, Justin, that we've got our good friends over at Hard Assets Alliance. This is a group headed up by Stephen Feldman, and they've already done over $3.8 billion of hard assets, meaning silver and gold, for their clients. And you've heard me say it before, folks, but they've got 10 different dealers that they deal with. So it's not just you walking into a numismatic store on State Street or wherever you are in the United States or around the world and trying to get a bid for your gold coins, silver bars, or whatever it might be. You're getting bids from 10 different dealers. They're going to take the highest bid and they're going to take the lowest offer. And that's in your favor, folks. So if that sounds like something you'd like, by all means, scan that QR code. You could become a client of Hard Assets Alliance, and that QR code will take you right to a page where you can start buying and or selling gold and silver. Yeah, that's the page right there. Hard Assets Alliance, one of the best ways that we know of to invest in gold and silver. And today, I'm not going to be talking about gold and silver here as much, Justin. I'm going to talk about oil and Bitcoin. And I'm going to say oil because of what we said about China. If China's having trouble, folks, they are a massive consumer of any of these types of fuels, whether it's oil, gas, or whether it's coal. They are huge consumers of all of that. So if their economy is slowing down, well, that means that there's excess oil, which means prices go down. It's supply and demand, folks. And Bitcoin, boom, to the upside. The first crypto-friendly president and administration is coming in, Justin. So anybody who has digital assets has to be happy about this.
Yeah, absolutely. With China as well, we can look at a China slowdown affecting copper. One of the biggest, if not the biggest consumers of copper is China. You know, you'll be looking at Freeport-McMoRan and also just copper futures to probably be impacted by that. And also, I don't know if you've seen it, but there was a prediction from VanEck, the big ETF guys. They say a reasonable base assumption is that Bitcoin will ultimately trade up to half of gold's market cap. Right now, gold is market capped at like 17 trillion and Bitcoin's is like 1.6 T. So that's what, like a 5x from here to reach VanEck's price target. Wouldn't mind that.
No, I wouldn't mind it either. And full disclosure, folks, by the way, I own Bitcoin, I own Ethereum, I own Solana, and of course, because of Mr. Musk, I got to own a little Doge because he's going to be the head of the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE. So anyway, speaking of Mr. Musk, let's talk about Tesla. Because, Justin, we've seen a massive rally in Tesla. And guess what, folks? For those of you who are clients of ours, you know that we saw a huge buy over the past several weeks and another big one on Friday. Friday, as you see there on the screen, 44,000 of the February 290 calls were bought in Tesla. And it's got a short interest as well as a lot of people that want in now that Mr. Musk is going to be so integrated into the second term of President Trump. So the stock traded over 344 today. And man, it's just been zooming, Justin. What do you have on some of the activity and the chart action that you've identified?
Yeah, I mean, the chart really is just exploding higher. I believe the all-time high is at 414.50. And by the way, it's not even just that piece of UOA, which was massive. They have been hitting this and hitting this and hitting this again at the lows. And then as it rallied, and they are likely rolling up and taking some of that profit. In fact, almost all of those are rolls, meaning that they are taking some money off the table, but keeping some exposure. And for those who are wondering what the perfect spot is that the stock market is likely looking for, it's likely not a cabinet position that would take away time from Musk to manage Tesla, because we've already seen that before. It's an advisory position that would give him power, but not a cabinet position. That's probably what explodes Tesla higher even more. But honestly, just the wind could probably explode Tesla higher. It's already moving in that direction.
Yeah, what a great time to be long this stock, folks. It has moved now back into my third highest percentage position, not because I added that much to it. I added a little, but because of its outsized move. It was $250 some odd 5 days ago, folks, the day before the election. And since then, it's put on nearly $100. And Elon Musk, he only owns 715 million shares. So just today's move is $15 billion more in his pocket. All right. So, Justin, Coinbase, another Trump stock. You guys know that when we did our election special, one of the stocks that I covered was indeed Coinbase. I also covered Bitcoin, and Justin and Mark and Pete and Ryan and our team covered a lot of great stocks. Coinbase, well, when Bitcoin goes over 82,000, you can bet Coinbase, Mara, MicroStrategy, Riot Blockchain are all going to move higher. And boy, Coinbase has just exploded, up over 14% since Friday, Justin.
Yeah, and I mean, what's up over 66% during this piece of the rally? You know, we're getting towards that nice double. We've been long it in 3 at 3 Pro. We've been taking some profit and staying long. I mean, it's just an incredible trade. Tons and tons of UOA in that too, even more than we've seen in Tesla in massive size. I mean, you're only seeing 8 of those on the screen. Below that, I couldn't fit the other 1,000 of those being exaggeratory, but exaggerative. But there's a lot of UOA in this. Smart money is buying this up and they're not stopping.
Yep, and it's institutional, folks. 68% of the ownership of this stock, COIN, is institutional, and they have been sticking it hard. All right, AbbVie. This one, I never root against stocks that are trying to make life-changing, life-saving investments in biotherapeutics or whatever it might be. But in this case, AbbVie, the shares are down hard because a late-stage trial for their treatment for schizophrenia just didn't work out. And so people are moving like this with their hands. That means they're selling, folks. And what are they buying? Well, they're buying the one that got approved. They're pulling their hands towards themselves over in Bristol Myers, as Jim Cramer would say. So Bristol Myers winning, unfortunately, AbbVie losing. What do you have on this one, Mr. Nugent?
AbbVie fits the mold of stocks that maybe would have done well in a Kamala environment. They just aren't doing that well here. Personally, I wouldn't have been a buyer of AbbVie before this. I still wouldn't be a buyer of AbbVie now. I'm not rooting against it either. It's just when you have so many soaring sectors, I like to look at those, and I feel like there's better alpha to be gained there. And if you do want to trade something that's doing drug approvals and trials, I'd really look more at the small cap and even the micro cap biotech stocks. You can find online these calendars of catalysts, and then you can do the research on those trials, on those drugs, on how they've done in those catalysts before. And sometimes you can find very outsized gains in those options that people aren't looking at a ton. That's what I would more focus on.
Well, I bet Justin is very focused on Hood, which is Robinhood, folks. And not just because he's a significantly younger trader than me, but also because they just kind of click with a lot of people who are into trading. It's not as sophisticated a platform. That's why I'm pretty sure that Justin has probably migrated somewhere else. But an awful lot of young people start out in Robinhood, and boy, what they've been doing lately, now they say maybe the Robinhood, at least one of the people from Robinhood may be considered as the new SEC chair. Thank God they're getting rid of Gary Gensler, because that guy was just horrible for crypto in particular. But man, Dan Gallagher might be one of the people that they're considering for this. That's according to Bloomberg. And I'd also say that they made a nice move because they weren't just going to let Predict and Polymarket be the only guys where you could go and make an investment, if you will, on the election and the election outcome. Justin and I described trades in stocks that you could do, but Robinhood actually let you trade those Predict markets on their site. And it turned out to be a great move because an awful lot of people came to their platform because of it.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, no, I'm a Thinkorswim guy right now, but if Robinhood keeps improving their platform and we keep seeing these studies on order execution being at least as solid as Thinkorswim, maybe I'll check it out. They introduced Robinhood Legend, which is like this new platform for them that's, you know, basically just going to steal Thinkorswim's thing with a panel of different widgets. That's cool. But I think the biggest thing that they've done is actually introduced futures. That's huge. I think a lot of young people have no exposure to futures, and probably some people are going to get blown up, especially the type of people that are on Robinhood. But It is, it's very, very big for them, I think, as well. In Robinhood, we had UOA on the expiring on the 8th that we took on the 4th, I believe, in the 24.50 strike calls.
There
Obviously,
you
you
see
see
it.
they're at
Mhm.
$34. Bang. We rolled those up and out after that first big jump into the 12, 20, 30, 34 call debit spreads. That means we cap our gain at 34. That's where the top of a volume gap is that we've been talking for a while. Guess where it's at? It's above 34. Took profit on it this morning. That is back to back, I believe, 4x gains in both the original trade and the roll. So we love to see it.
Yep. And folks, Justin authors the 3 at 3 Pro, which if you subscribe to that, you not only get 3 at 3, that is me and Justin providing interesting trades, 3 stocks in particular each day, 5 days a week, but also you get education with it. You get a newsletter and recap and so forth that Justin himself puts together for you. So I can highly recommend both 3 at 3, which again, we both do, as well as 3 at 3 Pro. You can just type in go at Market Rebellion and it'll take you right to an email to us. And you can say, tell me more about 3 at 3 Pro. And again, Justin, that guy right there, is the guy that writes it and publishes that great information on a daily basis. All right, folks, we love, and I know Pete loves this part of the show probably as much as anything, even though he loves making money like Justin and I do. But this is where we pick an interesting video, and what a great game this was between the Lions and the Texans. The Texans went up to a 23-3 lead, I think, at halftime or something like that, Justin. And then Dan Campbell and the Lions came roaring back. Yeah, the pun is intended, but they did come roaring back. And this was the play that I want you to watch right here, because it was one of the defining plays in that game.
Earned the job with the Lions from 58 to tie the game. Bates just inside the upright, ties it at 23.
58 yards out, and he just squeaks it in by about the width of a football. He squeaks it in the upright. He, of course, came back to kick a 52-yarder to win it, Justin, and keep Detroit just rolling along. I don't think anybody wants to play these Lions, but boy, even on a bad day, because, you know, when you go down 20 some odd points in the first half, that's a bad day, but they came back strong. That was very impressive.
Yeah, I mean, it's really a testament to everything in life, right? Like discipline. Seeing that 23-3 or however much they were down and just saying, all right, I'm going to play the game the same way that we practiced it. I'm going to execute these plays. And maybe if we continue to execute, despite the fact that it's going against us right now, it'll work in our favor. And that attitude can be applied to so many things. Also, Jared was telling me about this guy. That's so cool. So he was a gentleman that wasn't originally somebody that was playing a ton and had just had a very good record in the past. Is that accurate?
Yeah, he was a soccer player, and then he played, can't remember if it was North Texas or where he played. He finally came out for the football team, did not miss a kick, never had missed a kick. Then he got into the, I think it was the USFL, and signed a couple-year contract there. And the Lions kicker went down with an injury. And I think that poor guy will be kicking somewhere else, because they love this guy in Detroit. And he's been such a winner for them that, we all miss. Not every trade of mine is perfect, folks, but this kid is pretty damn amazing. And just wonderful to watch the Lions come back like that. And like I say, I give their coach, Dan Campbell, a lot of credit, as Pete does, because this guy just motivates these players like crazy. And just as he came back from halftime, Justin, before the snap, there were 15 minutes in the third quarter, you know, so it's right the first play of the game, you know, because the ball goes through the end zone and blah, blah, blah. So the clock never starts. First play of the game, Stroud throws an interception right as Campbell is talking about it live on camera. He says, what we need to do is we got to hit them hard and we got to get some turnovers. First play, a turnover. The defensive back cut right in front. It was fabulous. All right, let's talk also just a little bit about this, Justin. Deion Sanders, Travis Hunter, the University of Colorado football team, 7-2. That's Deion, the worst coach in the Big 12, Sanders. And he ain't the worst coach. Many of the people that said that have already apologized because he is phenomenal. He's done a great job with the portal and with motivating players that may not quite be at the same level of some of the teams that he's beating now. But this was just another great win for him. They've already qualified for they're bowl eligible, and hopefully they'll be playing in the Big 12 championship. But he's an exciting guy. His son, actually one of his two sons, put on a little Deion dance in the end zone, Justin, after he scored.
And that was his son is Deion Sanders?
Yeah, Deion Sanders and Shiloh Sanders are his two sons, folks. And both of them will be playing on Sundays in the not-too-distant future. And obviously, Travis Hunter, that kid might win the Heisman. He is so good. And he had, I think, another 9-catch day or something like that. I mean, there are some players who get drafted that have 9 catches for the year. And this kid plays both ways, offense and defense, and had 9 catches this weekend.
Wow, that's incredible.
Now, lastly, let's take a look at what was going on with the Indiana Hoosiers because, yeah, they were a big favorite, even against Michigan, a great Michigan tradition. They don't have Jim Harbaugh anymore, but what they do have is a lot of guts, and they gave Indiana everything they had and yet did not come away with a win, which means then that Indiana has their first ever 10-win season, Justin. First ever 10-0 record. It's pretty amazing. And I'm delighted for them. And the fact that I think the portal, which many people are critical of, it's not just that you can get a couple great players here and there because they're backing up somebody at Alabama or at Ole Miss or at, any of the great Southeast Conference schools, but also these teams are not nearly as deep. The depth on those same teams that I just mentioned, LSU, Bama, Georgia, they don't have the same depth they used to have, which makes it more of a fairer game, in my opinion, Justin, because there were probably guys that were second and third team on those teams that could have been starters, maybe even All-Americans at other schools if they were playing there. And instead, they have really helped out these schools like Indiana, given them that little extra that they needed to get over the top, and at the same time took away a little extra from some of those other great programs.
Yeah, I mean, that's incredible. You said it really, really well. I mean, 10-0 for the first time ever. This is where the pressure really, really, really builds to just maintain and to act as if nothing has changed and to just keep putting on those same excellent performances that led them to that 20-15 win over Michigan previously.
Yeah, yep, great game. I'm sure there were a lot of people on the edges of their seat, Indiana fans, and of course, Michigan fans hoping for that upset. And they almost got it. They came within 5 points, and Indiana was giving 14.5. When was the last time a Michigan team was getting 14.5? I can't tell you, but I know it was probably before Jim Harbaugh was there. Well, Justin, great job as usual, sir. Great to have you on the show. And folks, remember, if you'd like to sign up for any of our services, you can just email us, go@marketrebellion.com. That's just go@marketrebellion.com. I'm down here in Nashville. I'll be in Miami tomorrow. This is my, 6 keynotes in 7 days, right after the election. So bang. I hope we get to see you again in the near term, maybe even tomorrow, Justin. I know Pete's coming back, but I don't think he's back till Wednesday. So great job. Nice to have you on the show with me. And we'll tell everybody we're back tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern time.
Absolutely. Hope everybody has a great day.